Hi, welcome back to a gentle yoga flow. I'm Dan. I'm a certified yoga instructor, have about 500 hours of training in mostly an alignment-based vinyasa, a little bit of training in yin yoga, and I tend to incorporate a variety of different techniques of my background and learnings across many different varieties of yoga into our practice. So today we are going to do a nice flow, mostly standing poses. And we're going to start by just taking a few minutes to ground ourselves. So find a comfortable position to sit in. I like to sit on a block. You might have a pillow or a blanket you can sit on. It helps to elevate the hips, let the knees be a little bit lower than the hips, and that generally helps make them a little more comfortable position to sit in. So find a nice comfortable seated pose and we'll get started. So rock back and forth on whatever you're sitting, whether it's the floor, blanket, whatever. Find the sitting bones at the bottom of your pelvis, feel them, rock back on those, and then on an inhale, press those sitting bones into the block. Lift up, starting way down, sort of below the belly button, pressing into the block, lifting straight up, feeling the length come all the way up your belly, up your chest, all the way through the crown of the head, as if the crown of the head could reach up and touch the ceiling. And then close your eyes. And take a moment here and notice your breath. Just notice it. Don't evaluate it, judge it, compare it. Just notice how you were breathing at the moment you brought awareness to your breathing. And it was probably short, probably not really focused, anything. It's just the natural breathing we do without thinking all the time. And then we're going to change that and start a directed breath. So consciously inhale through the nose, lifting up, finding as much length and height as you can on the inhale. And on the exhale, let the air out either through your nose or mouth, but maintain as much lift as you can on the inhale. And start a nice steady breathing pattern where you're inhaling and lifting up, inhaling through the nose. And as you exhale, press down with the sitting bones to maintain lift as you exhale out. Inhale. And allow yourself to develop a nice, steady, even inhale and exhale. Allowing the inhale to be the driver and allowing the exhale to try and match the length of the inhale. Maybe you're counting up to 3 or 4 on your inhale or longer. And then you match that count on your exhale. Take several rounds of breath on your own, just breathing long, extended inhales and exhales. And then bring your palms together at your heart center. And pause here for a moment to bring an intention to your practice today. Whatever that intention may be for you today, whatever's meaningful to you for you today, make that your intention. And then lower your hands back to your knees. Take 2 more nice long breaths. And then gently lower your head, keeping your eyes closed, bringing your chin down to your sternum, keeping the lift in your belly. Gently soften and open your eyes. Raise the chin and relax. We're going to start today by coming up to a standing position. If you have a block or a pillow or a blanket, anything that you may want to use later in the practice, keep it handy off to the side. And come to a standing position. Have your feet, either have your toes touching with your heels slightly apart, or let your feet just be parallel, hip width apart. So we'd like to make the feet at least parallel. Come to a nice standing position. Really press your feet into the mat as we come into Tadasana, mountain pose. Press the feet into the mat. Inhale your arms up. Interlace your fingers. Take a big inhale. Press your feet into the mat. Reach up with your fingers. And as you exhale, bend to the right. And allow the side body, this whole side of the body, the left side, allow that side to reach and arch. Keep reaching with your fingertips as far as you can, allowing the side body to open, keeping the feet strong and pressing into the mat. Keep reaching with the fingers to point to the wall. And then on an inhale, come on up. Change the interlace of your fingers, keeping the index fingers pointed. Take a big inhale, press the feet into the mat, reach up as far as you can with your fingers. As you exhale, bend to the left, allowing the right side of the body to find some length. Again, keeping the feet strong, pressing the feet strongly into the mat, allowing the side body to open, reaching with the fingers. And then again, on an inhale, come on back up, release the hands, reach with the fingers as high up as you can, keep reaching. And then as you exhale, bring the arms out to the sides. Now keep the breath nice and steady here, even inhales and exhales. Reach with your fingers to the sides of the room and begin to pull the arms back behind you as if you could touch your thumbs. And as you're reaching with your thumbs, start to let your chin go up. Let your gaze go up as your gaze starts to come up towards the ceiling. Keep reaching with the thumbs back behind you, opening the chest, really letting the gaze go as far back as you can now. Reaching with the thumbs as far as you can, letting the gaze go further back. And wherever your maximum range is wherever your maximum range is. Keep breathing. 2 more breaths. And then on an inhale, come back to center. Keep the arms fully extended. Bring the arms back up. Bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, and press with the feet into the mat. Press the palms all the way up towards the ceiling. Release the hands back out to the sides. And then on a big inhale, take a big inhale. As you exhale, bring the right arm under the left, crossing at the elbows, bringing the palms together if you can. Anything that resembles this, really crossing of the elbows. And then as you inhale, lift the elbows as high as you can. As we take several breaths here. Each breath lifting with the elbows, pressing the feet into the mat to find length and height. Keep pressing the elbows a little higher. One more breath. And then on the exhale, release the arms back out to the sides with the palms up. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, bring the arms the other way, crossing the elbows left under right, bringing the palms together if you can. And then again, inhaling and lift the elbows up as high as you can. Steady breath. Keep lifting the elbows a little higher. And then relax, release the arms out to the sides again. Back up. Keep the arms lifted. Bring the arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers behind your back. In this position. And then press the feet into the mat. Press the hands down to the floor, pulling the shoulders back. Keep the breath steady. Keep breathing. Keep pressing those hands a little bit lower. Pull the shoulders back a little farther. And then release the arms. Shake out the arms. And release. All right. Come back to a position of Tadasana. So have your feet parallel or bring your toes together and separate your heels. Either position. I'm going to start back in Tadasana. So nice and strong feet. Press the feet into the mat. Lift the toes off the mat a little bit so your feet are engaged, not your toes. Really pressing the bottom of the feet into the mat. Arms are by your side, palms facing forward. Finding length all the way up through the legs, through the chest, through the crown of the head. Steady breath. And from here, we're going to go into chair pose. So on an inhale, inhale the arms, bend the knees, lower the hips. Steady breath. Each inhale, see if you can sink your hips a little bit more, keeping the weight in your heels, toes are soft. Lift the arms a little bit higher, lift the chest, sink the hips. Sink the hips, lift the arms. 2 more breaths. And then on an inhale, press the feet into the mat and come on back to a standing position. All right. Now, I'm going to turn and face this way because I'm going to be going the length of the mat here. So we're going to start by coming back into a standing pose. Nice Tadasana, feet hip width apart. And we're going to do a high lunge. So we're going to start by stepping the right foot back. Find the width that you need to be stable. And we want the back foot, the feet should be parallel. So just like here, feet are parallel. Step back, the feet are still parallel. We don't want this pose yet. We're going to start with a high lunge. So we're going to walk that foot back so that our feet, our toes are pointing towards the front of the mat. We're on the ball of the foot of the back leg. The back leg is as straight as you can make it. Hands on your hips. Left knee is over the left ankle. As you sink your hips, keep pressing the heel towards the floor to keep this leg nice and straight. Sink the hips a little more. Bring your hands to your heart center. Come back to your breath, nice and steady and even. And then inhale the arms up straight, really reaching with the fingertips. Nice and steady. If you're feeling nice and balanced and steady, maybe let your gaze go up between your hands. Maybe press your palms together with strength and energy. Bring the hands back to your heart center. Bring your hands to your hips, and then on an inhale, bring your weight forward and step back to the front of the mat. And I like to emphasize coming out of the pose as much as going in, as it requires continued concentration and focus to come back into exactly where you started. So we don't want to give up at the end of the pose. We want to stay really focused on the pose all the way through. We'll do the other side. We'll step the left foot back. Again, making sure the feet are parallel. If you need width for stability, you can make it a little bit wider, but again, keeping those toes pointing straight so that the feet are parallel. Back foot, you're on the ball of the back foot, hands on your hips. Sink the hips, lower the hips as much as you can, keeping the back straight. Keep pressing that back heel towards the mat. Come back to your breath. Bring your palms together at your heart center. Steady breath. And then inhale the arms up. Breath is nice and steady here. If you're feeling balanced, let your gaze go up between your hands. Maybe press the palms together with energy and strength. Bring your hands back to your heart center. Hands to your hips. And again, as we come out, we want to be under control, nice and steady and even. Inhale, bring your weight forward. Back to a standing position. This time, we're going to step the right foot back. But this time, we're going to turn the foot out. So the foot's turned out at this maybe 30, 45 degree angle. Your heels are basically in an alignment position here. They could be a little bit wider for stability. Bring your hands to your hips. And notice, when you're in this position, right, your hips are pointing off this way. So we're going to try and rotate our hips forward. Bend the front knee. Bend the front knee. For warrior one pose. Inhale the arms up. Make sure you're rotating your hips. So we're not trying to do this pose. We're really rotating forward. So we're rotating those hips, bending that front knee, keeping the back leg straight. Steady breath. Let your gaze go up between your hands. Press the palms together. Bring your hands to your heart center. Bring your hands to your hips. And then again, on an inhale, bring the weight forward. And step back to your standing pose. Step the left foot back. Again, back foot's turned out about 30 degrees. Figure out where your hips are. Turn and rotate those hips forward. Bend the front knee for warrior one pose. Hands to your heart center. Inhale the arms up. Maybe let the gaze go up between your hands. Press your hands together. Hands back to your heart center. Hands to your hips. And then again on an inhale, step it forward, back to your starting position. Okay, relax. Now, we're going to come to a wide pose here. And if you have a block or a blanket or a pillow or anything that helps, you can use that. But you want to start by spreading your legs nice and wide here. You want to try and have your feet even parallel, or even better, maybe even a little turned in. So nice wide stance. What we don't want is this pose. We want this pose with our feet. So this is a different kind of pose. We're really looking to pull the feet in towards each other, keeping the feet nice and strong. Bring your hands to your hips. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, fold at the waist, coming forward, pressing the chest down. Bringing your hands to the floor, a block, a pillow, anything you want. I'm going to start here by just doing some equivalent of a cat-cow. So you're going to inhale, lift the head, chest, and shoulders. And then as you exhale, fold at the waist, letting the head drop, coming all the way over the hips. And then inhale back up to a flat back. Almost arching the back. And again, forward fold all the way down. Inhale back up. Exhale, fold over. And then come on up. And then bring your hands either to the block or floor, whatever you're using. And we're going to start by walking our hands over towards the left side. We're walking along. We're really kind of trying to keep the legs straight here and twist over. And we're going to try and bring our forehead towards the knee. Whatever that looks like for you, it's going to be very different for everybody. It doesn't matter. We're finding a little bit of a twist here. We're pressing our head down towards the knee. Finding a lot of sensation along the back of the leg. Maybe the inside of the leg. Keeping the breath steady and even. One more breath. And then release and come on back to center for a moment. Take an inhale, come on up to a nice flat back. Exhale, fold all the way over. Come on back to a center. And then walk your hands over towards the right. Again, really finding a twist and pressing that forehead towards the right knee. Keeping the feet nice and strong. One more breath. And then release the hands. Come on back to center. One more time. Big inhale up. Exhale, fold. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come on up. Bring your arms out to your sides. And then start to bring your chin up, let your gaze come up, reach your fingers as far apart as you can, open the chest, allow the gaze to go back as far as you can. Keep breathing. And then come back to center. Bring your hands to your hips. And then gently walk your feet in a little bit. And then turn the left foot out to the side. And turn the right foot in. So the right foot's turned in about 30 degrees maybe. And the heel of the left foot approximately going to intersect the arch of the right foot. Something close to that. What we're trying to avoid really is you don't want to be, if your foot's way out here, you're going to have a really hard time doing this pose, Warrior Two. And so it will be a bit easier if your feet are a little closer on the same plane here. Now, for Warrior Two, we're going to go quickly, just demonstrate. So the pose for Warrior Two looks something like this, right? And so what we're trying to do here are a couple things. One is keep these hips really in line of the plane of the mat. But that's going to come into conflict with this knee. So we're going to prioritize the knee. The knee wants to go out over the toes. And that's because if the knee starts coming in, and you're putting a lot of pressure rotating that knee inward, it's not particularly stable in that direction. You want to keep that knee going straight out over the toes. Your hips, if you line up your hips in this pose, where you can see my hips are pointing this way. And what I really want is to work on a rotation of these hips so that my hips become more square to the mat without compromising my knee. So there's only so far I can go. I can really help this by really engaging my left buttock to squeeze and turn under, sort of squeeze and roll under. So my hips are not going to be exactly, because you can see what's happening to my knee. So I'm going to prioritize that knee, but I'm working my left buttock to really pull this underwards, to try and pull these hips square. And then I bring my arms out. Let my gaze go out over my left fingertips. And then I'm going to bend that front knee, keeping the knee going straight out over the toes. And then check where you are in space in terms of your spine. So if you feel like you're leaning way out in front, see if you can pull it back. If you're somehow way back behind, see if you can find as if there's a center pull running straight down your spine. You want that pull to be standing straight up. And then we're going to come in and breathe in this pose. Maybe each exhale, sinking the hips just a little bit more. And then from here, we will reverse this warrior. So we bring the palm upwards, the left hand comes up, this back hand just drops to the back leg. It's not pressing on this leg at all, you're just letting it hang. You're going to feel some opening probably along the whole side of that body. And then come back to Warrior Two. And then from Warrior Two, we'll come into side angle pose. So bring the left elbow down to the thigh. Bring the right arm straight out. Finding as nice long line from your back foot all the way up through your right fingertips. Nice and steady breath. Find maybe a little bit of a twist in this pose where you're rotating your body to bring your gaze out, up from kind of underneath your armpit. One more breath. And then inhale back to Warrior Two. And then bring your hands to your hips, straighten your front leg, turn it back in. Take a big inhale. And exhale. And then turn the right foot, turn the back foot in. We'll do the other side. So again, on this side, make sure your feet are aligned. Heel to arch as close as possible. Make sure this right knee is going to bend and go straight out over your right toes. Figure out where your hips are in space. Try and square them a little bit without compromising this knee. So it really requires a lot of work in the right buttock to squeeze and pull under to keep this knee stable and allow this hip to rotate a little bit. Bring your arms out to your sides. Warrior two, let your gaze go out over your right fingertips. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, sink the hips, bend the knee, maybe widen the stance if you have room. Make sure the body's straight and not tipped forward or back. Nice and straight. And then reverse the warrior, bringing the right arm up, keeping this arm nice and soft, no pressure on the back leg. And back to warrior two. And then we come into side angle, bringing the right forearm to the knee. Left arm reaches forward. You're finding a nice straight line from the back foot all the way along the side body, up the arm, through the left fingers. Maybe even a little bit of a rotation around the spine, letting the gaze go up towards the ceiling, looking out under the armpit. Then inhale back up to warrior two. Bring your hands to your hips, straighten the front leg, turn the foot in, and then to come out, you're going to heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, until you're comfortable and can come on out. All right. Now, come back to Tadasana. So, toes together, heels slightly apart, or feet hip width apart, either one. Stand nice and tall. Press the feet into the mat. We're going to do chair pose again. So, inhale the arms up, bend the knees, sink the hips, lower the hips, lift the hands, lift the chest. Weights towards your heels. Maybe this chair pose feels a little bit easier now than it did when we did it in the beginning. Nice and steady breathing. And then inhale, come on back up. And next we're going to do tree pose. So, tree pose is a balance pose. I want you to focus on being able to balance well and being able to really engage your standing leg more than worrying about where this foot may go. So, if we start on the right side, then I think there are a few different ways you can approach this. You can keep your foot on the mat, kind of use your heel against your leg so that you can turn this out, right? Because part of tree pose is rotating this leg out. So this might be fine pose for you to do, right? It's maybe very hard for you, in fact, right? So you're really focusing on the standing leg. You're really just using the toe to balance, and this leg is turned out. Now, this might be easy for you, and you might want to then maybe bring your foot to your calf muscle. Again, keeping this leg really nice and rotated out to the side. This is perfectly fine. And then if you're feeling particularly strong, maybe you can bring this foot all the way up, sort of into the inner thigh, right? Again, this knee's turned out. That's what we're looking for, and a strong standing leg. And bring your palms together. Let your breath really start to come into focus. Let the breath be nice and steady as we balance. Maybe you can balance with your arms up. Lots of different hand positions you can use. It's really up to you, whatever feels safe and comfortable. And then to come out, gently release the foot down, wherever it is, and come back to a standing position. And then we will do the other side. So again, we start with what's the easiest thing. So we come up onto our toe. We've got this leg turned out, hands on our hips. Maybe we come up to the calf. Maybe we can come up all the way to the thigh. Really depends on your body, on your ability, etc. Again, really focusing on engaging the standing leg, working nice and hard. For me, my left side is much weaker than my right, so this is a much harder pose for me on my left. Maybe you can bring your arms up. Maybe you keep your hands here. I do want to say, we want to keep the foot off the knee a bit. So we don't want to be pressing right onto the middle of the knee. So that's why we suggest either the calf or above the knee or even below, right? We just don't want to be really putting a lot of sideways pressure on the knee ever. So, and then gently come on out and shake it out. Now have your feet hip width apart. A little bit wider than hip width apart. And then squat down, bringing your forearms to your thighs. Inhale, lift your chest up. And then from here, everybody's going to be a little bit different, but you're going to lower your hips. Ultimately, we're looking to come down into Malasana pose. So this is your heels are on the ground. Hips are sinking, chest is lifted, arms are between your knees, breath is steady. You may be up here, doesn't matter, right? Just go to your max, find your max position, sink those hips, right? Wherever your max is, could be up here, doesn't matter, right? Just let the hips sink. And then to come out, bring your hands down and come on down to the mat. Come on to your back. And lie back with your knees bent. We're going to set up for a bridge pose. So walk your feet in as close to your butt as you can. Keeping your feet parallel and keeping your knees hip width apart. So we don't want to be in this pose, right? We want to try and come up like that. We're going to keep our feet parallel, walk our feet in as close to our butt as we can. And then on an inhale, lift the hips as high as you can. And then from here, start walking your shoulder blades back under. You can reach under, grab, interlace your fingers. Keep rocking back and forth to bring your arms underneath. Then press the hands towards the mat and reach towards your feet at the same time as you press your hips up towards the ceiling as high as you can. Nice and steady breath. Keep lifting the hips a little bit higher. One more breath. And then release your hands. Lower your hips all the way back to the mat. Bring the left knee into the chest. Extend the right leg out straight. Pull the left knee up towards your shoulder. Keep that right leg fully extended, pressing into the mat. Take several long breaths here. Really pulling that knee up towards you as much as you can. Maybe you can move it around a little bit. See where you find sensation. Bring the right knee in. Grab the right knee with both hands. Extend the left leg straight out in front of you. And then pull that right knee up towards your shoulder, keeping the left leg fully engaged. Pressing into the floor, pulling that right knee. And again, experiment pulling the knee in just slightly different directions to feel different sensation points. And then bring the left knee back in. Rock back and forth just for a moment, massaging the lower back. And then bring the feet back to the mat. Cross the left ankle over the right. Inhale, lift the right foot off the mat. Grab the back of the right thigh. Now, for some of you, just having the cross of the leg like this may be enough sensation in this outer left hip that you don't need to lift the foot. You don't need to pull the foot any farther. This may be just enough sensation for you. That's fun. If you want more sensation or need more, then you can grab this and really pull that foot up towards you, pressing that left knee away from you, finding sensation in the left outer hip. And again, release the leg. Come back to center pose here with knees bent. Cross the right leg over the left ankle. Right ankle over the left knee. And then again, this may be enough sensation for you. If you need or want more sensation, then lift the left foot, reach through, grab the back of the left thigh, and pull up towards your shoulder, pressing that right knee away as you pull the left ankle towards you. Take a few rounds of breath here. And then gently release. This time you're going to cross the leg like you do in a chair. Walk this right foot in. Spread your arms nice and wide. As you lift the hip up a little bit, swing it over to the left as the knees fall to the right. And again, we want to be sure to keep our shoulders on the mat. So if you find that as you roll your knees, your shoulder is going to come off the mat, your opposite shoulder, you can slide a block or a pillow or a blanket anywhere along this this leg, this right leg, to give it support so you reach the point where you can have your maximum twist and keep that left shoulder on the mat. The arms are spread out, and then let your neck turn, let your gaze go out towards your left fingertips. As you sink into the pose, you may find that you can slowly adjust the support as you find more space in the pose as the body gets used to it and stretches a little bit. This is again the art of listening to your body, knowing that your body is your body and no one else's, so only you really know what's going on inside. And becoming more aware of your body and being able to listen will increase your overall awareness of your body in general, not just when doing yoga. Come out of the pose, bring your head back to center. Lift the knees, rotate the hips back to center, uncross the legs. Pause for a moment. Cross the right leg over the left. Switch your support, if you're using it, over to the left side. And then again, walk that foot in close, lift the hips, swing the hips to the right as the knees fall to the left. And again, position that support wherever you need it to keep this shoulder on the mat. It's not going to do us any good if our shoulder's up in the air. So we want to keep those shoulders down. Rotate the head to let the gaze go out over the right fingertips as we take a few minutes to just breathe in this pose. Nice and steady. And then to come out of the pose, bring your head back to center. Lift the hips up, rotate the hips back to center, uncross the legs. Extend the legs out straight as we set up for Shavasana today. Have your legs straight, arms by your side. Have your arms by your sides. And take a moment here as you're heading into Shavasana to just do a quick check-in. Notice how your body's feeling. Notice the effects the practice may have had on a particular part of your body, your mind, whatever. Just gotta take a few moments here to check in, see how you're doing. As you let go of any steady breath here, allowing your breath to return to its natural, unconscious breathing. As you let the body know that it's Shavasana, that no work is expected. The only thing it really needs to do is be still and quiet and absorb the effects of the practice here. So let your eyes close, let your breath go away from any steady breathing. Allowing the sense of calm, quiet, and stillness envelop you in your Shavasana for a few minutes here of quiet and stillness. Shavasana. bring a little sensation back into the body, moving the fingers and toes, maybe bringing a smile to your face, softening your cheeks. Keeping your eyes closed. Take your time, bend your knees, and roll onto your right side. Keeping the breath nice and slow and unconscious. And then slowly keeping the eyes closed, make your way up to a comfortable seated position. Sit up nice and tall. Find those sitting bones just like we did at the beginning of the practice. Bring your palms together at your heart center. Acknowledge the intention you started the practice with today. Bring a sense of love and gratitude into your heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today for this gentle yoga flow. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Thank you.